2:46 p.m., March 11th, 2011. Great East Japan earthquake. We, people with disabilities, have an appeal to make. Preview. 18,684 persons, the number of persons who died or went missing in the Great East Japan earthquake. Death rate of persons with disabilities, double. The reality is that the death rate was more than double for persons with disabilities. What made the difference between life and death for persons with disabilities? Authentic voices of persons with disabilities who faced and survived the earthquake, tsunami, and the nuclear disaster, and of relevant people around them, have wisdom to create a society where persons with and without disabilities can live safely together. Developmental disorder, psychiatric disorder, visual impairment, intellectual disability, orthopedic impairment, hearing impairment, deafblindness, internal disorder. Mr. Naganuma, who is blind, suffered during work in the hospital. His wife Chiharu, who is also blind, and their son Chihiro are both still missing. The city burst into flames because of the oil which spilled out in the tsunami. I don't know because I cannot see, but for those who can see, the area turned into a sea of fire, and smoke came in through the gaps in the windows and buildings, making people feel that it was probably the end of everything, for good. Mr. Satoru Kanno of Onagawa Town, Miyagi Prefecture, was born with hearing impairment. When the shaking stopped, he cleared up the furniture and things scattered in the room. He could not hear the broadcast at all, and was hit by the tsunami there. After the quake, the tsunami came, but I couldn't hear it. The water poured in and came up to my neck. As the window was smashed, I went out of there up to the second floor of the house. Mr. Masaaki Sato of Iwaki City, who died at the age of 35, had muscular dystrophy, a disease that causes muscle wasting throughout the body, and needed an artificial respirator and a wheelchair in his daily life. After working at the workshop, he was hit by the tsunami 1 hour before the next helper was scheduled to come. Relatives who lived nearby rushed to him. We got him out of his bed to evacuate him, and as we transferred him to his wheelchair, I turned around and saw the waves coming above the roof of my house. The moment the tsunami was coming, Mr. Masaaki Sato said in a whisper, "We have to give up." And it was that moment when the tsunami waves attacked the three of us. What is the town like, where persons with and without disabilities can protect their lives and live safely? And how should the disaster prevention be for persons with disabilities? If wheelchair users with disabilities have interactions with people around and participate in the society in various ways, people will know in their daily life where wheelchair users live. Otherwise, they will not care about them in emergencies, even in major disasters. The same is true if there is no communication in everyday life. At critical moments, it's only neighbors that can help each other. When escaping in emergencies knowing that the tsunami is coming, you can at least say something. You can say, "Run away, the tsunami's coming," or you can make a gesture to hurry. A society where everyone supports each other living in their community. On the other hand, however, there was another approach. Temporary housing built for persons with intellectual disabilities and psychiatric disabilities and their families. Is it difficult to live in regular temporary housing? It's really difficult. We have to avoid stairs and close neighbors. I would be most relieved if we could live here forever, because even if people make noise here, everyone would say, "Never mind, it's not noisy." And that's the way we live here. What makes the difference between life and death for persons with disabilities when a disaster occurs? What support is needed for persons with disabilities to live together with persons without disabilities in the community? It is the responsibility of us who live in the present to accept the reality that there are people who died due to disability, to carefully record the words of persons with disabilities and relevant persons, and to convey them far and wide to the world. Great East Japan Earthquake. We, people with disabilities, have an appeal to make, to be completed on a grand scale in February 2013.